Welcome to the IESF South Asia qualifier for DOTA 2 2024. I am Waxen, joined by Black, bringing you the first couple of series of this qualifier. Black, the teams are fighting for the top two slots. We've got 4 squads: Bangladesh, India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, and they want to make it to the AEC Chengdu 2024. So let's start off right at the gate. Looking at these 4 squads, Black, who do you think is the prime favorite of making it to Chengdu?
The prime favorite, probably. I know a lot of players from the Indian squad, so it's got to be India for me. I played with a lot of them in matchmaking. They're very high MMR. They should be number 1, and then Nepal actually last time went through as well. So on paper, they should be number 2. And truth be told, I don't know too much about Sri Lanka or Bangladesh. So we'll see. Again, question marks. Could be very exciting, but usually a group with 2 favorites. We've seen it the last time as well. It could potentially get a little one-sided.
I'm currently looking at their previous results, which is what you told me off stream. And in 2020 and 2023, respectively, Nepal upset India 2-0 in grand finals. So, it's been a long time since then. So we'll see if they can have the same type of success in this tournament, as we're going to take a quick look at the schedule that we have ahead of ourselves for today, Black, because it's a bit of a longer one than what we had yesterday. Yesterday was a quick 4 best of ones. Today, though, oh my goodness, we got Nepal, Sri Lanka, best of 3, followed by Bangladesh and Nepal, another best of 3, India, Sri Lanka at 1 p.m. best of 3, and then towards the evening, later portions, we will be moving on to the Western Asian side qualifier, and we'll have best of 1s between Iran, Jordan in Syria, and finally 7 p.m. CET time, I assume, Libya versus Qatar. So a lot of action at hand today, a very busy start to our weekend on this Saturday. But before we talk about, the West Asian qualifier, I've got to ask you here, Black, what do you think about the format? Because it's a bit more similar to what we had in the African qualifier, right? It's a single round robin match with 4 teams, which is less than what we had in Central Asia, where we had 5 teams. Do you think this can create more, not necessarily controversy, but more tiebreakers if possible, because it's a 4-team group?
Potentially, yes. But at the same time, since it's best of 3s as well, usually the favorite should end up winning, and 2 go through from here as well, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so the 2 favorites, Nepal and India, in my books at least, are in a prime position to make it through. Now, who makes it through in seed 1 and 2, I'm not sure. But this best of 3 format, I think, favors them a lot.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably accurate. Best of 3 is usually what we want to see from the team. Well, what the favorite teams want to see. There's a less chance of an upset. There's less chance of getting cheesed 2 games in a row. So hopefully they're gonna get off to a good start in this game versus Sri Lanka, because we've got Sri Lanka has a lot of stake here today, Black. None than our fabulous production team is actually backing the Sri Lankan squad. So for Frost and the boys, hopefully they're gonna put on a good showing, win at least a map or 2. But first series of the day, Nepal versus Sri Lanka, and one of the aspects that I think we covered a long time ago, maybe last year, I might forget, is the flags, Black. I love the flags. This region has the countries in here have some of the best flags in the world, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. So again, in Germany, unfortunately, in history and geography, we don't really learn too much about these regions and these countries. And when I saw these flags for the first time, and even now looking at them again, they look really damn cool. No offense to European flags or anything, but this looks way better.
Absolutely. I think the only European flag that I would say is up there in contention might be the Welsh flag. Wales has like the red dragon. That's kind of cool as well. But
that is kind of cool.
Yeah, but other than that, I think we're kind of lacking, Black. The German flag, I'm not a big fan. Romania, it's not awful, but not special. I mean, the Romanian flag looks about like 5 other flags, like Chad, I believe in Middle Africa, Central Africa also has the same flag as Romania, so nothing special. Whereas if you look at Sri Lanka, right, it's a dragon that has a sword and another flag outside of it. And Nepal, it doesn't follow the same rectangle shape. I love this.
I mean, if you look at Sri Lanka, it's basically 3 flags. It's like a yellow flag, and then an orange-green flag, and then the dragon in there as well. It's a triple flag and 1 flag. It's pretty insane, to be honest. So, who would you give the flag game to in this series, in this matchup?
Oh my god, I think it's probably... It's so close. I guess...
It's a tough one. I'm putting you on the spot. I know.
I'm taking Sri Lanka. Although I normally would have said Nepal because of just a different shape. I think the 3-in-1 is what wins me over.
Fair enough. I completely agree with this one. I think it's just too stylish, honestly, and the multiple colors too. I mean, Nepal, you have, the shape looks nice, pretty special, but they only have 2 colors. Look at Sri Lanka, man. They have so many different colors.
Yeah. It's whoever the graphic designer, I guess the graphic designers make flags for countries. Anyway, whoever came up with the flag itself idea deserves a huge shout out for both of these countries. As let's take a look at the rosters, and we're gonna start off with Nepal, and we have Luris Sesson. Oh, that's a great name. Sesson? Season? What are you gonna call him?
Sesson sounds kind of nice. Sounds very French, very what's it called, classy.
I'll go with one. I like that. That's kind of good. We might struggle with that mid-game, but we'll see. Then Puzzle, Callum, and last but not least, we got Blues. These are some pretty solid nicknames. I'm not familiar with either of these players. I'll have to be completely transparent with our audience at home. But like you said, you've seen Nepal defeat India several times over the last couple of years, so they must have some heavy hitters here.
Definitely. Again, India, I think India's average MMR is probably a good 8-9K, maybe even more at this point. So to be able to beat that, I mean, you're at least going to be able to match that, or have like a team synergy and a drafting system that's out of this world. But again, as you said, those results are not fresh. They've been a while back. Things can change rapidly in those.
It's also quite hard to see, if the teams keep the same rosters. And we talked a little bit about the actual meta changing, right? And we talked, if Nepal has had the same roster for 4 years, they've been practicing and whatnot, but the recent patch changes might be too much. So let's see how that's going to evolve. And I think game 1 will be a good tell, as now we're taking a look at Sri Lanka's side, and we got Morpheus, Silent Storm, and Mishri, Akuna, and Game TM. Oh, I mean,
those nicknames are... I think the nickname game also goes to Sri Lanka, to be honest, man. Like the flag game and the nickname game seems to be on a pretty next level. Morpheus? Silent Storm? That's a good name. Now, if you go over to like South Korea and StarCraft, or some of the Chinese nicknames, you have like 5 people, 5 pros that are named Noob. So boring. Look at these names, dude.
Oh man, this is I like the way we break down. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just telling you, like, there's nothing better than having us on the stream to kick off your day with. And I'm actually checking what we were talking about, Black. And in 2022, which is the most recent game that we have recorded of Nepal defeating India, the 3 of the players, 4, no, what? Okay, so they have replaced a player since then. Their position 1 has been changed. Otherwise, Sison, Luris, Caleb, and Puzzle are still in the squad.
And I would argue that post 1, no, I don't want to start any beef with any carries, but you're the most replaceable. Okay. You're the guy that's just farming. You're the late game insurance for your team, okay? Don't act like you're doing a whole lot. You're there for the late game, okay? The mid-late game, all right?
I think it's safe to say that Black is speaking from experience.
Yes. Dude, as a carry, honestly, Dota can become so boring. Like, if your team is dominant, you literally don't get to play Dota. Like, they GG out just when you're ready, and you're like, what have I been getting ready for? I've been farming for 20 minutes, got my 4 slots, just about to come out. GG. What?
Black. Do I remember correctly that you used to play with FY, right?
Oh yeah, VG.
Okay, so I think while I'm hearing you talk about positions and the impact of positions and carry and all that, I think I just realized that I now have a new life goal. I want to play Dota with you for you to tell me, wow, you're almost as a tenth as good as FY was, and I'll die a happy man. I think that is my new life goal from now on.
I think I'm gonna be honest and tell you straight up. I think you're at least
100.
30% as good as him. Dude, I think tongue twister, dude.
The universe was like, that is the biggest lie. I'm not gonna let Black say that.
No, I'm serious because okay, Dota levels, yes, there's a big gap between them, but you yourself reached the peak MMR for yourself just a while back. And just pure skill-wise, the gap can't be that infinitely big, you know? Like, you're really good at the game. You're way better than the average player. So I would easily say just pure game ability, probably 30% at least.
Jesus Christ. I'm out.
But I have to say, no. I also have to say,
don't take it back.
No. We have to say also, I believe in Dota, at least 50-60% of how good you are comes from the knowledge. So even if you're just as good as him in pressing buttons and positioning and whatnot, having his game knowledge is invaluable. These players are insane. That is true.
Absolutely true. And the experience, right? I mean,
100%.
In theory, like in a simulation, you could argue that I might have that 30% that I don't think so, but if you do, but then if you put out on the big stage, I would still probably crumble while he would destroy me. But that is a hell of a conversation, and it's going to be curious to see how the first two teams today will actually deal with this pressure, especially from the Sri Lankan side, Black, right? They have by far the less experience. They obviously haven't necessarily had the opportunities of playing on stream for a lot of viewers to watch, so that adds an extra layer to that. At the same time, they are playing one of the favorites to kick off the day, so it might add even more onto their shoulders. But as I always love saying, you know, it's a cliche, but pressure does make diamonds. And if Sri Lanka can actually convert that pressure into some successful victories today, like I said, even in a potential defeat versus Nepal, but carrying the momentum later on, they could still have that second slot to fight for if they can upset India maybe later on this weekend.
Yeah, I think this first game is going to be very telling as to where everybody stands and what kind of chances they have. But for example, in most of the qualifiers we've had, we really had one or two clear favorites, and they were pretty much completely unmatched. Yeah. They were just way too good in a league of their own, and it's just almost impossible to climb that mountain in a game like Dota that is so strategic. Because for me, in Dota, you can lose at two stages. You can already lose in the draft, which happens a lot, especially to amateur teams. Of course. And then, no matter how good you play afterwards, you just can't win. But even then, if you do manage to get a decent draft against a better opponent, then you still have to outplay them as well. So you really have to win twice in Dota to actually win. It's tough. It's tough. I think it's way easier in a game, I would say, like Counter-Strike, where it's much more volatile. You just take over a round, like an equal round, suddenly you're up 5-0, and you actually have a realistic shot. In Dota, it's not that easy, because there's so much more strategy coming in before it even starts.
And it's also like Counter-Strike now with the MR12 version. I don't know why we're breaking down Counter-Strike here, but there's more of a chance to, upset someone if there's less of a sample pool in each map. I know best of ones are not as common in CS as they still are in Dota to this day, but when they do happen, getting to 13 is much easier than to 16. Previously, you got to 13, you're playing against a good team, and the comeback would happen and you would lose. So yes, you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Black and Waxen coming to a Counter-Strike broadcast near you very soon. Do you play Counter-Strike, Black?
I do. What was the highest rank you've ever gotten?
Oh, I mean, Black, I was semi-pro at CS. CS was my game before Dota.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to brag with my... what's the one before Global
Supreme?
Elite again?
Supreme.
Yeah, I was Supreme. I was about to brag with that, but never mind. Okay, sorry.
So I used so I went back. I used to play 1.6 at a high level. CS:GO, I was good for like the first 2 years, and then I just did the switch to Dota. So nowadays, if you still play, you might be better than me.
I am not very active anymore. I love watching the game because whenever I watch like these super insane aimers like Simple and whatnot, like you see a little bit of a shadow. Okay, bro, I did not see anything and you got him. Okay, cool. I don't know how to do that. It's a mystery to me. I would never be able to go pro with that game. No way.
But you are also a very high, high reflex, high skilled gamer yourself.
Yeah,
so there might be a chance.
Okay, maybe it's just a matter of getting used to like all the game mechanics or whatever. Like you see a little shadow, you're like, oh yeah, right there. Of course. But when you see it as an uninitiated player, it looks so amazing.
It is a beautiful game to watch.
Yeah, and it's very simple to understand, obviously, which is why the audience is so massive.
I think that's why, yeah, of course. And that's why Dota is like, obviously, we're still trying our best to make it as digestible for the fans. And obviously, you working with me, Black, in the last, year or so, you've noticed that I have the tendency of sometimes breaking down the things because we understand the great knowledge. And a lot of our viewers are like, high-brain people that play lots of Dota. But especially with IESF, there's very big chances of we getting new viewers that are just watching the map and they're like, oh, there's colors moving. So I kind of sometimes like breaking down stuff and be like, oh, that's what the gold means, or that's where you can actually read the gold. Because if you're a first-time viewer, you don't even know what that is. You're like, gold? What is gold? I see someone looking like a monkey with a scepter hitting people, and it's hard, right? And I think we could do a better job at Dota of trying to, and I talk about us as broadcast talent, making it sometimes simpler for the viewers to get into it.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate the effort as well. As you said, like, even people that are immortal players, like low immortal players, there's so many things they don't know. Even me, as a guy that spent more than half his life in the game, there's so many things that I don't know. So, yeah, it's a constant learning in this game, which is what makes it very scary, but also very beautiful. Yeah, definitely. If there's any new player out there, don't be discouraged. Don't be scared. It really takes a lot of time. It's basically, I don't know if that scares them more, but it's basically like a little part-time job to get good at it.
I gotta say, going back to like just a conversation before that with Counter-Strike, you know what I really hope to do, Black? I know what Toss said about playing each other. I hoped, and I thought we were going to do this in Yash, we didn't get the chance, to run like a show match between different like game casters. So we would have like, and then to make it even, right? We do it on every single game.
Okay, yeah.
So they would get the CS squad onto Dota and would slap them around. And then we would go and play CS with them and
also
see if we
around.
can hack with them. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And that's how we'd prove that Dota 2 gamers are the S tier of esports.
I mean, for better or worse, Dota definitely among almost every pro player. Because most pro players, they at least try out a lot of other esports, right? Like most Dota players played Counter-Strike, probably some League as well, just to kind of test the waters. And it has a stigma that it is the most complicated game ever, because there's just unlimited options, like literally unlimited options of everything.
Would you say more than StarCraft?
Yes, because StarCraft is like there's a limited amount of things that you can have in the game. I'm not saying the game is easy at all. Like the multitasking in that game, of course, is a different skill set. Multitasking in StarCraft is insane. Like these top level players, where they're like doing things at 4 different sides of the screen.
Exactly.
Like, they absolutely just destroy you.
So it's okay. Would you say that? Because I would argue that StarCraft is the highest skill ceiling game esports. But I would say Dota is definitely, if not second, in top 3. That's what I would say.
I would go one level further and say not StarCraft 2, but StarCraft Brood War is the highest skill. Because Brood War is insane. You can only have like maximum 12 units in one group. You have to like, their APM is insane, dude. Like 400 or 500, the best players in the world. Yeah. They're so fast. Literally so fast. I don't know how their wrists even survive it, to be honest.
one of the conversation I was having with someone, and my bad, ladies and gentlemen, we are only moments away from getting into the first draft. Me and Black are just breaking
We're
down.
just reminiscing on past occurrences.
What did we say we call this? The Black and Waxen podcast? We came up with a name the other week.
Okay, well, we can just call it Blackson.
Sure. Fine. The Blackson podcast. An argument that I've heard from people is that people argue Rocket League is also like top 3, and I've played a bit of Rocket League.
Tough. Have you played it yourself?
Yes, but I'm also a mouse and keyboard person, and to my understanding, you're not meant to play it that way. You're meant to play with a joystick.
Yes, which is also why I don't want to say sucked at the game, but I sucked at the game. That was terrible. That was probably. So I pride myself with getting good at games fast.
Okay.
Rocket League is one of those games where I understood it very quickly, but being able to execute was so difficult.
Yeah.
So difficult.
Do you think there's a transitional skill between platforms? So if you're if you're a pro, if you're black, right? You're black Dota and mouse and keyboard, legend. Expert. Would you say that there is any correlation of skills if you would do the switch to, I don't know, PUBG Mobile or to, again, Rocket League on joystick or any games like that? Do you think that the skills can transition from different inputs?
I think the knowledge. So if you're a pro player at any game, I think there's also the reason why I think I get really good at a lot of games quickly. It's because I have a very distinct way of thinking and improving in games.
Yeah.
I actually went to this TV show. It's called Heroes and Superstars. It was about promoting a mobile game, and it was a shooter mobile game. And there was a couple of pro players in shooting games and whatnot. But of course, all of us never played mobile games before. And my biggest strength in Dota was always finding the broken things and making them even more broken. So immediately in that game, I found the most broken character, carried my team. It was 3 teams of 4 players, by the way.
Yeah.
I had the highest KDA by far every round until they actually banned my character. Like it was just auto banned because it was too broken. And I was like, what are you doing to me? And then I actually had to get out there and play the game properly, and I got whacked by the FPS player.
So okay, was that what input was that again?
That was mobile on the phone.
I see.
But I also have to say, I feel like the human body plays a big role. Like I have really big hands, and I had to play on a pretty small mobile phone. So I don't know how these players do that. I watched a couple of players. They have like their big iPad suddenly for people with big hands and stuff like that. I don't know if that's allowed. I don't know the rulings.
I don't think that's allowed. I swear that's not allowed.
But imagine, okay, so I got a pretty old phone here. It's an S8, right? You can see my hand is way bigger than it. It's like pretty tiny. So how do I play on this? Like if I sit here like this, then what do I do? Right?
Someone take a screenshot of this.
Like imagine you hold it like this now to play. What do? You misclick all the time.
I get it. No, I've got the same issue. I used to have that issue with texting when phones were really small. And the first, smartphones came out, because I used to love the BlackBerry. And I was like, that was great for me. I was like, oh, just like a keyboard, but in my pocket, this is great. And touchscreen is not my forte, I have to admit with that. But I have been suggested by fellow casters, to get into MLBB Black. Because they say, oh, it's Dota, it's MLBB, it's a mobile. You'll get it, it's fine. We need European casters. And I'm like, what are we on about? Like, I don't even have the game installed on my phone.
Yes, but I do think there is a lot of connections, and I do think you would probably get the hang of the game very quickly. It's not super complicated, but it's very entertaining, actually, if you get into it. Have you ever played or watched golf?
Have I ever played what, sorry?
Golf.
Golf, as in real life golf?
Yes.
Mini golf.
All right, so imagine real golf is way harder, obviously. It has a stigma of being super boring, right? And being easy. Like it looks terribly easy, right? They just go around, hit the ball, easy.
Okay, fine.
Now I started playing a while back. It is probably, in my opinion, what I've ever played. I played a ton of sports. The most difficult, beginner, unfriendly sport I've ever seen in my life. It's so ridiculous how difficult it is. So things that look easy might be super hard. Things that look hard might be super easy. But I tried yourself first. That's the morale of the story. How is our game looking? We are ready, they say. So we should be heading in momentarily.
I'm excited to see this game, honestly, Black. I think, the clash of the nicknames is probably what I'm most looking about. And do you think there's going to be a story today? Like, let's say Nepal wins 2-0. Then we're going to realize that the team that has the better names and the better flags loses today?
Ultimately, unfortunately, cosmetics only do that much. Like, you can be the most handsome football player on the field,
Okay.
If a Messi comes around, not saying he's not handsome, he's gonna make you look like a fool, Which is how it is.
Who is the best looking Dota player, Black?
That's tough. So, Game & Gladiators has a reputation for being really handsome, all of them.
That is true.
But the thing is, good looks, I'm sure there's some sort of metric out there, but ultimately it's very subjective, right? To every person themselves. Like, some people love this look, other people love that look. It's really hard to say. Personally, I really like the way Fly looks. Like, he has this really chiseled chin, very nice face, I think it looks amazing, like super handsome.
I've never seen Fly in person, but he's also quite like well-made, like big muscles and stuff, so that's cool.
Oh, he's very, very fit.
What about? I'm trying to think.
That's always a problem. But I continue.
The same argument. Arguments. I mean, people say tofu these days, right? From Gaming Gladiators.
He is really good looking.
Previously, it used to be FY, right? I think FY is a good shout as well.
Yeah, but FY always had this reputation of. I mean, his nickname is the Prince, basically.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Must be a reason why.
That is cool.
And of course, I was in a team with him for many months. He's pretty damn good looking. When the girls are around, he's usually the guy that all the girls flock to. I had the advantage of being a white guy, so I was very exotic. I was number 2 in the team, but not even comparable to him.
I see.
He got flocked and I got jealous, and then we had a bar fight. All right, let's not go into all the details. But
that was the last time Black. Actually, who was doing picks for you back then? Because I was about to say that FY picked something. We got a bit of a disconnect. Sorry. I was about to say that FY stopped picking your heroes then.
No, he started first picking my heroes. He's like, deal with this, bro. But it was funny. Actually our coach drafting. So.
Okay, that makes sense. What do you think the current state of Chinese Dota, about the teams that qualified for TI this year? It's G2IG qualified and Team 0, and I believe Azure didn't make it, and Team Turtle, which I think is a squad with FY, that they just joined up for a few days before it. They got out to top 4, top 6, so they didn't make it.
Which is why potentially their attendance at IESF could be shattering, Because I don't.
Oh my god! Imagine.
There's so many good players free right now. I could literally. Yesterday, B-Cup and I, we went through a list. There's literally 30 players that play in Tier 1 teams that are not going to TI.
And that would be tragic.
Yeah, for everybody else, yeah. 100%.
That would be absolutely tragic. I mean, look at the team that one of the teams they ran 2 years ago was Ame, Somnus, Chalice, Jinkyu, and PYW as a sub and Lam as a coach. What are we talking about? If this team shows up, this is...
everyone's done, basically.
Oh my goodness. And also at Asian Games, I believe they defeated Mongolia. This was 2 years ago, right? So this is the Mongolia that won IESF World Esports Championships last year, but a year predating that moment. I think, okay, I'm just looking at the squads. Let's if you're not with P-Cup, I want to do it myself. I don't care. China. There we go. I would like to see a team with Faith Beyond. Okay.
Yeah.
Faith Beyond, FY.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would take, where are they?
Me.
Do you have a double citizenship, Black?
No, but I'm honorary Chinese. At this point, come on.
I don't
lived
think
there
that's
for
how
4 years.
I don't think that's how IESF works. Although, with that being said, they did have what is it? Lelis playing for Team US last year, but I guess Lelis did have double citizenship.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, what was I? Okay, Faith Beyond, FY, Chalice, Somnus, and position 5 who's available. I know he's traditional position 4, but I could see Kaka joining them.
Sure. I mean, there's also Panda, I think, who's free right now.
Yeah. But I'm going for like all the big famous names, right? I
mean,
okay,
but you know the problem with that, right? Like too many big famous names.
Egos, yeah. I mean, I don't know what the ins and outs are, like what the clash of personality might be between the squads there, right, or the players. But I think that it would be so hard. I mean, that means you essentially reduce the slots from 4 to 3 because China's gonna take it 100%. Is there any doubt about that? Like,
I think if China gets to, fields a really strong squad at the actual event.
Yeah,
Chengdu is going to be a walk in the park for them, obviously. But
yeah, of course. So again, it's a fight for
Chengdu,
yes.
Yeah, post Chengdu, I also just believe they're the heavy favorite, right? Like they're going to the World Finals. I don't see them lose.
So we're already confirmed for the World Finals. We have Saudi Arabia, of course, because of the host country. We will have Mongolia, but they've not looked as good because they've changed their roster. South Africa, who we casted, and they played well, but I don't think they would hold a candle to China in any sort of capacity. And Egypt, who again would be a good team, but wouldn't be able to take down a full squad stacked of Chinese players. So as of right now, it would be maybe one of the European squads that comes up with some big guns to pull up an upset, right? As we are actually finally getting closer and closer to having our draft for game 1, ladies and gentlemen. But out of Europe, because I know we talked about this and we looked at Bulgaria, right? If Mind Control and BZM play, because BZM didn't make TI, Mind Control didn't either, they might be a good squad, right?
Yeah. There's lots of potential. That's the thing. There's a lot of potential. It's just how much do these players care about this, because unfortunately, these national tournaments have a reputation of not being super liked among the pro players. Because honestly, they're very young. I mean, this whole esports scene is very young still, and national pride and everything is not nearly as strong as it is in traditional sports yet. But I feel like in 10, 20 years from now, it's going to change massively.
10 seconds.
And
absolutely.
The biggest problem is also the scheduling, right? Like, unfortunately, Valve does not really care about other big tournaments. So they just schedule their thing whenever they want to. And then, of course, everybody wants to go to TI.
It would be, okay, I'm looking. So it's Bulgaria if they play that way. It's Greece, which is essentially Ad Finem from a few years ago as their full squad. They could be a strong contender if they actually manage to roll back the years and play at the level they played in, 2017? And then maybe Sweden, right? With Hanskin, Excalibur, Pablo, but again, versus China, I don't know. It doesn't sound good to them.
I feel like I can say that about almost anyone, though. Like, China is just a monster. Like, any team they field could literally just be a tier 1 team on its own.
10 seconds.
Oh, well, Black, let's stop theory crafting and let's see what the theory is going to be in the first match of this best of 3 between Sri Lanka and Nepal, as the first set of bans is already completed and the picks as well. And we're going to be opening up with a Pudge for Nepal and a Slaughter answer for Sri Lanka.
It's a hero we have seen a lot, the Pudge, I mean. And he's always had quite good success. I like the Slaughter answer, which kind of means that you can't really play him as a core already, just because take away all his armor, and he really hates that. But a support Pudge is amazing against Slaughter, so I don't think they mind it at all.
Yesterday we had a Slaughter, I believe, in one of the games I casted with B-Cop, and it looked very bad. Which, again, it might have been just more of a, an occasion, because Slaughter can still be really, really potent, especially if you manage to get an early Orchid and then high levels into Corrosive Haze, maybe hit level 12 in the first 20 minutes or maybe earlier than that. That would be ideal. But the one ban that is very odd to me out of all the ones that we've seen so far is this Clinks. What are your thoughts on the Clinks and why do you think it's been banned out so early by Nepal?
Good question, honestly. I haven't seen too much of the hero, and every time I saw him, he's okay, but he's not amazing. So especially that early into the game. The thing is, though, these teams know each other much better than we know them. So maybe it's just a special.
Absolutely.
It's Sri Lankan special.
But otherwise, the draft is looking quite nice. And we see the armor approach from the Radiant side. Lich will have the fortune to keep them stronger, but Nepal is not playing around. Black going for the Iron Shell, Charge, Spirit Breaker, Darkseer, an absolute classic.
They're bringing out like some real aggressive DOTA right now. These three heroes run at you and they can kill you so fast. Synergy with Iron Shell is insane. Like, actually insane. It might be the most synergistic Iron Shell lineup I've seen for a while. They picked like something like an Ember Spirit now on top of that and a Spectra.
But wouldn't that be very greedy? Or if you run Pudge Spirit Break, Fort, it's kind of too much.
The thing is though, Pudge carry is very risky against the Slaughter because you're a very low armor hero, and Slaughter loves that.
Mm-hmm.
So I am expecting it to be a 5 Pudge. It could be a mid Pudge potentially. That works. Mid Pudge is not bad at all.
Sri Lanka now is a bit caught off guard by this
I would be as well.
Impressive answer, yeah.
What is this?
And I feel like they would have also liked to have a Darkseer maybe instead of the Slaughter, right? Darkseer, Lich, Chain Frost into Vacuum is very, very good. But anyway, that's not the approach they want to take. They want to take the approach of pressure, Frost Shield on top of the Slardar, and just run at the opponents, hit them, bash them, kill them. But they really need something here. And I'm going to be honest, what do you think of a Puck? I think Puck would be good, but they're going for the tanky approach. Even still, they really want to be up front and battling.
Yeah, and we have seen Timber many times. His damage output, especially in this patch, is insane with a double chakra on level 6. I love Timber. I mean, when you watch people like Amar play him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They make it look absolutely unbeatable, and it gets first banned every time against him. It's just such a potent hero. Very rare to find a hero that can deal that much damage and be that tanky at the same time.
And Timbersaw is a traditional great pick versus strength heroes, which, well, Nepal has plenty of right now. And these beefy boys that want to build HP and stay as much as possible, Timbersaw kind of likes shredding through their strength. So it's gonna be pretty good. And again, Timbersaw synergizes well with the Lich. Again, Frost Armor on top of the Timbersaw. They're sticking to the game plan despite being a bit surprised by this, going with this very tanky builds. But this might also allow Nepal to consider something like a Necro. Even with Undying now, Necro is a really classic counter to these sort of beefy approaches. And we've seen a bit of Necro in 736B. I don't think I've seen it in the last week, Black, but I don't know if Nepal's playing it, and they don't really care. They're gonna just instantly pick them Morphling here.
Morphling is generally a quite strong answer against Timbersaw. He's one of the heroes that can lane quite well against him, even out-sustain him. Because you, well, make HP out of nothing.
10 seconds.
I like to pick... Wait. So they have Slaughter and Timber, so that means it's pretty much a locked-in Timber mid?
Radiant team ban.
Could be Slaughter mid, right? We've seen Mulgreen play Slaughter mid.
But if they pick a hero that's good against both, like an OD, I think they're in a lot of trouble.
Well, they gotta ban it now. I think you gotta ban OD out. I think you gotta ban OD Necro, personally. They're Leshrac?
Okay.
Is Lesh really that good here?
It would be okay, but not like amazing, I don't think.
I think you need to ban the OD. And I still think the Necro would be a great pick for Nepal. At the same time, I also like the Morphling, because you know what Morphling does early on? He just morphs into the Undying and pops a Tombstone himself. And then that's kind of nullifying the effects of the Undying. But they need a carry for Sri Lanka. And Ursa's been taken out. Weaver's been bound out long ago. TA not in the pool. Tiny not either. Gyro, you don't want to pick it into a Morphling. And I think your all final answer might be the Chaos Knight.
CK, yes, CK would be quite good against Morphling as well. So I wouldn't mind a CK ban at all from Nepal. Puck ban. Man, I think if they pick Odie, this game is so incredibly hard for them.
See, I said I wanted the puck for Sri Lanka, but before they revealed the Timber Saw. Nepal, you gotta ban out the CK here. There's nothing else for them to play otherwise. Like, what would they get? A Phantom Assassin? That's not a hero.
Then again, they banned the things already, so maybe they have some info that we don't.
I guess a Drow Ranger, in theory, if it would be in the meta, could be good, right? You use the Gust, you silence the Morph, you stop the charge. Yeah, they're banning out the CK. Okay, that's... Nepal, with this ban, might have just completely convinced me they're winning this game 1.
Yeah, very, very strong strategic decision. Whereas, I literally think if they pick Odie, the game's just pretty much over. It's so hard to recover from that draft-wise.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't really get the puck ban, but we'll see. They're gonna go for the Zeus.
Okay, similar approach. You just want like a lot of damage, but I still think Odie would have been way better because Zeus is not. He doesn't have a save.
This is not a good Zeus game. I'm gonna be fully transparent.
I don't think so. Also, it's a curious one.
They wanted the global thing, right? That's why you put Iron Shell, global charge of the Spirit Breaker, and then you use the Thunder God's Wrath for potentially the Nimbus for a bit of extra damage to secure a kill. And Sri Lanka's gonna come up with...
Against Morphling, though? It's considered like a hard counter.
Exactly. That's why I wasn't even talking about the Lifestealer when seeing this black. Ugh.
I don't like the Lifestealer pick super much. It's gonna be good in the lane for sure, but you're gonna run into problems in the late game.
Mid game, he's really struggling. Absolutely. I don't even think late game. I think even mid game, against the Spirit Breaker Pudge, they're both great at dealing with your rage. And if you just keep getting bashed and eaten alive, dismembered by the Pudge, Krim is gonna have a tough job to do. And then I feel like they're on the timer here. Because the Zeus Dark Seer Morphling going post minute 40-45, they're just completely gonna annihilate you. Like, we're gonna have an Aghanim Scepter on the Seer, Morphling's gonna have 8 items, and Zeus, I assume, will be going for the magic buildup. Overall, I kind of hate both last picks from these teams, Black. I don't like the Zeus, I don't like the Lifestealer.
But I like the Lifestealer a lot less than the Zeus.
That is true.
They basically, as you said, put themselves on a timer. Slaughter, Lifestealer, and Timber are all not that good against Morphling. Not sure why they chose to pick it up.
I guess it's because they're gonna be counting on the early timing from the Slaughter, a Blink Orchid, burst the Morphling as fast as you can. As ladies and gentlemen, the first game of the day between Sri Lanka and Nepal is now underway, and we're heading in to see both teams smoking up already and wanting to test the bounty runes. And I think, Black, this is the first good luck, have fun I see all tournament long, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I always wonder how the relationships between these teams and players are, like inter-regional, because they should know each other very well, right?
I would say so.
On paper.
Oh, pause. Let's take a quick look at the facets. And the Pudge went for the Flayer's Hook. What a surprise. Extra damage, extra range, despite it being nerfed. The Dark Seer went for... Wait a minute. This is not the go-to, is it? He went for the Quick Wit instead of the Heart of the Battle, which is going to allow him to have higher attack speed, according to intelligence, instead of being speedier when nearby other heroes. That's not something we often see, is it?
Very interesting, yeah. So...
30 seconds
he's going for the puncher.
Yeah, but like
Tinker.
even when you go for the puncher, you still take the other one because the point is you blink in, you punch. There's multiple heroes, and then you run out of there faster.
Yeah, but he wants to not run out. He wants to go in and punch.
I see. Okay.
I mean,
He's going for the
I gotta
Aura build.
admit, I haven't seen this in forever. This facet. But if he wants to be a puncher, I'm all in for it. No, maybe
I like how you say-
saber build.
I like how you say you haven't seen it in forever. The patch's been out for like 2 months.
Yeah, that's forever basically for the patch, right?
Okay. We got a corpse heater on the listener, so we won't have any of that issues that we had the other day. There's a rage and stuff. As the Timber Saw is actually getting pursued behind the tier 1 tower, a bit overconfident coming in from the Nepalese side, but they're gonna trade blows. Timber will be low, and so are the Darks here. And Timber Saw mid versus Zeus with a level 1 level Whirling Death. This is gonna not be a good start for the Radiant side.
It's a tough lane for Timber to begin with. Timber loves having lanes where he can just tank the physical damage, but Zeus, obviously his magic damage is insane. So he will have some problems in this lane. That's also what I picked the Zeus. It's a very strong hero early on. OD doesn't actually beat Timber until he gets some levels, so maybe that's
True.
why they chose to pick the Zeus over the OD. Yeah, we'll have to see what he can make happen.
And I think this is the first time we have the pleasure of seeing a Lich together, Black. And he went for the Chain Frost facet, which is really cool. Chain Frost kind of operates now a little bit as a Aghanim Shard Thunderstrike of a Disruptor, and it lingers a little bit if there's no target to bounce on, which makes it, first of all, very funny looking, and it adds a bit more, I guess, a reliability of the spell, because ever so often, especially in the early game, mid game, sorry, when you use Chain Frost around the creep wave, it bounces off a creep, it kills the creep, and then you only got 3 bounces out of it. So it makes Chain Frost slightly more valuable.
Slightly, I would even go as far as say quite a bit, because the duration it circles around you is quite long, right? Is it 2 seconds, 3 seconds? That's
It's quite a long time, yeah.
yeah. So that's the time where that hero is basically not completely out of the fight, but he has to be so careful where he moves, right?
Ooh, look at this Zeus in mid, going
wow.
full commit, Dao jumping in with the heavenly jump, Dauber Arc Lightning Black, and
It's long.
oh, look at top, they're turning around, they've got a lot of damage, and they could probably pursue this morphing to just keep him outside of zoning out. He's not morphing as fast, shifting into strength, but the tank, I think Blues is gonna fall. He does not have a waveform out in game TM. The Undying with the double kill coming through very early on, and morphing level 2 is a pretty weak hero, right?
He is. And Undying starter probably their peak early on. But getting the double kill is very important for them, because now that allows them to actually scale in that lane. And that's the weakness of a Pudge, right? Against Starter, you have no armor, Undying as well. 5 Pudge definitely has its weaknesses. We said the support tool isn't the best, and you probably saw it just now.
On bottom lane, Lifestealer is last hitting. He's getting pressured, but he shouldn't die. He has a rage level 2 already, so the Leech will be the one to fall. Doesn't quite surprise me, but Cream really wants to go on the Caleb as he was tanking a few tower hits, and now Cream might really be in danger. 1v2 tanking 4 creeps for over 20 seconds. Yeah, I mean, if you tank a full creep wave and double Ion Shell, Spirit Breaker, Dark Seer, you will fall. I mean, he shouldn't have died, but with a play like that, that's the consequences of your own actions.
Yeah, overestimating himself a little bit there. Probably unnecessary, but it happens. Sometimes you think you're stronger than you are, trying to make a big play.
What is Morpheus doing? Morpheus, bottom. He's gonna be safe, but he's down to below 100 HP, and he just came back from base. Interesting. This mid lane matchup is, as you said, Zeus completely dominating Timbersaw, and it also doesn't help Mark that he came into the lane with 200 HP on the back of that like minute 0 skirmish. But up top, they're gonna cut the wave and they're gonna get the courier kill. This is a very good lane. This is, well, by far the best lane from Sri Lanka, despite still not outlasting the Morphling.
It's going to be very hard to really deal with the Morphling, as we said, especially as the levels go higher. Ooh, Timber again. It's tough. We said it's a tough lane. There's not a whole lot he can do, unfortunately.
It's a double kill. The Slaughter falls up top. He was overcommitting. The charge bottom coming in on top of the Thunder God's Wrath, and Kalem with Luris is gonna get another kill, and they're already on a killing spree. And there were first 2 minutes were rather close. The last 3, it's minute 5. It's a complete landslide, Black. As I hope this is not gonna be the way the rest of the map unfolds. But they are playing from very far behind. 2K, almost 3K network deficit at minute 5 is game breaking.
It is, and the lanes are tough. We said it's a very aggressive run-and-do lineup, and I like that they're doing that very, very well. Like, they're just running.
Finally, they managed to punish Callum, but Luris will say, "Fine, you got my support. I'll get your carry," and maybe even Morpheus. For the third time, will full double kill for this Dark Seer, and he's not even dying 20 HP or so to survive the last tower hit. It's 5-0 Dark Seer, and despite that, he's still not a top network chart. He's still behind the Zeus because the Zeus also has the kills and the last hits.
You see the attack speed of the passive actually coming into play. Like, he wouldn't have gotten a couple of those kills if he didn't have that extra attack speed. So maybe he's onto something, you know, with the puncher. But yeah, as you said,
no, that does make sense.
It's gonna get a little bit tough because Timbersaw, you generally wanna have him at least do decent in the lane and then transition into a strong mid game. Without a good lane, it's gonna get pretty uncomfortable for him. He's not gonna feel very tanky.
And the fact that Slaughter died once and he's about to die a second time, the only saving grace of his squad, tries to bob and weave, but he will fall in the end. They're coming in with a track. They gotta get the kill onto Zeus. This might be worth it. Puzzle, only level 4. He cannot dismember anybody. He will be the one to be dismembered as a dive mark. Gets a double kill and going for more. Morphing level 4. Are they gonna tank the tower? They want to go for more. We have not the pursuit here. I don't think they would have killed him. But it could have put even more pressure there, right? I don't think you're afraid of the tower, but maybe they didn't want to have a Dark Seer TP on top of them with a vacuum wall.
Yeah, they did the damage to kill the Zeus, very important kill. And we said it was a landslide. They have made some really nice plays to recover the game into a nice state for them.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Krim, he really needs to not die here. Kalem is completely committing, okay, finally halting. About to go under the tier 2 tower. As only level 4 in the Spirit Breaker. Again, despite the kills and the gold lead, the big chunk of that is onto the shoulders of the Dark Seer and the Zeus. The rest of the squad, including the Pudge and the SP, are still not under level per se, but under leveled compared to the rest of the cores.
They'll definitely have they'll need to get their level.
Hey, Deathmark arriving in time to help the Undying with getting a trade kill onto the Slaughter and onto the Spirit Breaker, and that's not bad. Not bad at all. With that being said, our lovely observer just pulled out the net worth, which well, it makes it look kind of bad. But I like that the Undying is playing very good game, and the net worth actually reflects that because he's playing as a proper position 4, not a position 5. He's going to be going for the Guardian Greaves, and I think we are in a patch where we are slowly returning into an aura meta, right? That's why we see these offlaners like the Dark Seer being picked up because they are building it so early.
Auras are really strong, and they also keep getting the rope. The windows are tightening a little bit, my friend. Of course, Sri Lanka really make anything happen here. It's tough. I really wonder if they just completely pick for comfort, because like they kind of counted himself in the draft. Oh,
What a
nice
hook.
hook again. Rose.
I mean, probably. Oh, look at Nether Strike again connecting. Rekful will die. Not another Slithering Crush, and he was so close to having the blink. It might have been a comfort type stuff, right? But because this is not like Lich is not a S tier support. Undying is actually kind of making a bit of a comeback into the meta, but not as much as, I don't know, what are the other S tier supports? The Spirit Breakers, the Weavers, the Shadow Demon even, or Disruptor, who are still relatively viable. And Nepal on the other side, I would argue they are running heroes that are very, very good in the current meta, including the Pudge, despite the nerfs from 736C. Another charge, they're popping in the Tombstone, and they're gonna get the kill, but now the hook coming in. Twisted Chakram will not connect to anybody. We still don't have a blink, and they're pursuing. Now turns around with the Dismember to sacrifice himself to allow the Zeus to get out. They're trying to get on top of the Zeus, but the stuns are not gonna be there in time, and now Tsuki on the Morphling will also disengage. Still, great team up from the Radiant side to get a few kills back in their favor.
Yeah, especially with the comeback gold that's available in Dota. These kills matter a lot. I'm just a little bit worried that soon the Morphling is going to be too much of an issue to deal with. If he ever steals Rage, he's going to be nigh unkillable for the Radiant side. But I really like that they start putting on pressure, because it's the only play they have from now on. They're on a big timer, and it's go time pretty much all the time for them now.
Look at the Zeus building an Orchid after the Kaya.
Also, he is going right click still. Going into the Lightning Hands as well after.
I mean, I love the Orchid as an item. I always think Orchid's been an underrated item since it has another attack speed component with the Blitz Knuckles. I don't necessarily know if it's going to be the best choice here for the Zeus, but look at the smoke. They're rotating around. They want to get on top of blues. Deathmark's smoke does get popped, but look at the darks here coming in, and now they're turning the team fight around. They didn't even get to jump in first. Nice Dismember, and now Nether Strike onto the Slaughter. Can't even get the stun. Yes, they managed to get a kill, but the Leech falls in the background. Two of the cores are very, very low, and the damage flying in from the Morphling. Cream is just walking around, and now tries to turn focus onto the darks here. Everybody else has fallen. Cream, can you get something in exchange? I think you are gonna get a one-way ticket to the graveyard, as we have Sison on a mega kill streak and Nepal with a team wipe.
This is the problem. There's just too many small things coming in, and Zeus can't be touched. If a Zeus is untouchable in the backline, he just deals way too much damage. You saw here. He was even as confident as to jump into a Tombstone, into a Slaughter, because he's so far ahead. They have the Guardian Greaves, Crimson Guard completed soon. And you can see here with Nepal, no clowning around at all. They're playing this very seriously. No funny item builds. Nothing of the sort.
I mean, this is their first match on stream, right? It is very important for them to get off with a good start. And again, it's 4 teams and it's best of 3s, but they're not taking any risks, which is the right approach. You don't want to disrespect your opponents, because we see Sri Lanka, when they are chaining together, especially a few minutes ago, they are able to get a few pickoffs, right? And if you allow an underdog team to get the momentum going, they could be punishing you. And Nepal doesn't want that, right? They want to qualify to Chengdu. They and again, when they will be facing India in a hell of a matchup this weekend. So not losing any maps is the way they want to go, because in the end, it couldn't come down to seeding, right? Like we said, 4-way groups are very, very tricky. We so often see that in football in Europe, right? Although I'm not really a football person, but it happens. Every single map, every single victory or loss can count towards you making it or not making it.
Yeah, and as you said, seeding is also a very important thing, because it could give you a better matchup. But yeah, ultimately we see them, they're not going down without a fight here on Sri Lanka. If you give them an opening, they might very well make you pay for it. So play it safe, make sure that yeah, you don't give it up a chance.
Has fortified its structures. Radiant's bottom tower is
They will start knocking at the bottom tier 2 tower as the Radiant squad gonna actually take a tower for themselves. First of the game, minute 18, will be the tier 1 top. And they managed to claim, sacrificing the bottom one. No, actually, they're popping the 45. They want to buy themselves a bit more time. And it's not going to be sufficient time, as there's a massive creep wave joining up with the Morphling and the Dire Boys in just a matter of seconds. 13k behind, 11 kill deficit, 14k now. Full Manta style, Morbid Mask, and starting to build towards a Phylactery and Khanda. Vizone is the Morphling. How far are we from the Radiance on the Lifestealer? Oh, does he almost have it? He doesn't even build it anymore. Armlet into Sanj.
Yeah, chose to not build it. His early game was a little bit too rough, maybe, for him to justify going for it. But it's further going to weaken him coming into the mid-late game, because he can't really farm very well without it.
And now the Slardar, like in the draft, I call that he really needs an early Orchid to get on top of this Morphling. He went for the Blink Dagger first because they needed initiation, but that means he's now so far behind he needs to build a BKB, so the Orchid is... well, to be fair, it doesn't matter anymore if you do, even if you had it, because the Manta would dispel it, right? So, a few, I would argue, mistakes coming in from Sri Lanka, even when it comes to the item prioritization. But I think they've also been forced in that scenario when you didn't win any single lane.
Yeah, looking for a fight again, though. They're just getting kited like mad. Rages and cooldown, they can't really fight here anymore. As you said, the news is tightening. It's going to just get tougher and tougher. The scary part is that Morphling has been free farming the entire time, but he's not even top 1 net worth because of how good the others games is. It's absolutely crazy how good of a game Darkseer has, and the Zeus as well.
I really wanted to see the fast punch. I think if he's going Blink Dagger before Ags, we might not get to see the Aghanims this game.
You might be very right on that.
Look, they're going Roshan. It's bottom. They're setting up already. It should be a pretty easy kill. They just need to push the wave. There's no tier 2 for the Sri Lankan squad to TP. And yes, they have the outpost, but they don't have the team fight, right? They are not the ones with the Vac Wall combo plus the Leech Chain Frost. They have...
The Rex is probably also first match in this BO3 series. Again, we said upsets in Dota are much more unlikely than in most other esports. And the draft was just really rough for Sri Lanka. They kind of picked themselves into a corner. As soon as that happens, when you're also playing against a stronger team, it's almost impossible to win, unfortunately. Dota is such a grueling and brutal game.
Would you agree that they had a very hard to accomplish win condition, and at this point the execute from Nepal is much easier, right? You got charge, vacuum,
but ultimately they kind of did that to themselves in the draft. I don't want to take anything away from Nepal in terms of gameplay. I love their draft as well. It's so easy to execute, right? Darkseer, Pudge, and Spirit Breaker, so much disable, so much frontline. You just run in, gives plenty of opportunities for Zeus and Morphle to really come in and clean up. You can't really fault them for anything. I think they played a fantastic game of Dota, start to finish.
And I guess on the bright side, right, we often look at the teams that are the underdogs and we say, oh, they weren't even ahead ever. Sri Lanka was ahead. They had 2-1 when it comes to kills, and then it went to 2-9. So not great. But yeah, minute 12. Claiming the final, I believe, tier 1 tower we are witnessing right now in mid. No, the tier 1 top is still standing, but it was also when they bundled up as 4, right? Nepal, allowing the Morphling to just completely free farm. And here, this was probably one of the best attempts, but the counter initiation from the Spirit Breaker was so good, and the bashes, the charge, the Nether Strike, and then the Thunder God's Wrath do such a good job because the Sun had an amplified damage rune, right? That's why we saw the HPs essentially be halved at that point, and they really tried to get on top at least of the Reese, but they couldn't do so. And Krim ended up falling, giving Nepal the first team wipe, and that was the end. They had a few more attempts, but the vacuum walls were pitch perfect from Blue Reese, who I would argue Black MVP of that game on the Darkseer.
He played very well for sure, and was actually seemingly the correct decision to go for the passive as well. Like, he got so many kills due to that increased attack speed, which is very interesting. It's not something we really look at a lot, because mobility is so important in Dota. This game worked out perfectly for him. A little more space diving. I mean, at this point, as you said, there isn't really a whole lot of Dota left to play for the Radiant side, unfortunately. They're too far behind with an inferior draft at this point. It's almost impossible. The Morphling just has complete free game. He steals the Rage. He's basically untouchable.
You know what? I am happy though what we did see today. We saw Eternal Shroud lose. Eternal Shroud, you said before it got a little bit nerfed that you don't want to see the item in the game, you want it to be removed like Great Pack was. Do you think it's less broken now that it's gotten a few tweaks?
It's definitely less broken, but it's still too good at it. It just makes it so tanky. It gives you basically infinite mana against certain lineups. I don't think we need an item that's that good, you know?
Hey, it lost, so it might not be that good, right? It's definitely the item's fault, not the fact that nothing else really went in the favor of Sri Lanka. As I believe we are only moments away from getting straight underway with second game, Black. And I gotta ask you, do you think that is that not a disadvantage for Sri Lanka that they're going straight back to back without a bit of a break so they can mentally reset?
Well, I'm hoping that they had a little bit of a talk together as a team. But it can definitely be tough after a pretty one-sided game like this to really mentally recover. Everybody has like their own routines. Some people are face washers, other people they get
face washers. Okay, that is a throwback for our viewers. Yeah, are you a face washer, Black?
I have to admit, I told you, right? I don't just do that in Dota. I do that in pretty much everything. I'm a copycat, so I try to copy what everybody else does. So I tried everything. I tried massaging myself. I tried the face washing. I tried eating a snack. Somebody pulled out a fan right in the face, to kind of help them relax. I tried all of these things, and what I realized helps me the most is a combination of multiple things, to be honest. And oftentimes you don't have enough time for that.
Are you going to tell us what the combination is?
Of course not.
It's a secret, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, though, that I do not know of another Dota pro player. I actually copied this strategy also from Flash, who's known as the ultimate gamer in all games in Group War.
Okay.
And after doing so, I improved tremendously. No joke. He takes a ruler, he measures distance, keyboard, table edge,
no
keyboard to mouse. Ever since I started doing that, no joke, I can't stop doing it nowadays anyways, but ever since I started doing that, I feel so much more at home. The reason why he did that, he said in an interview, is he wants to make sure that he has the same environment every time. So it feels like he's playing at home, so nerves can't get to him anymore. And I thought that made complete sense. Everything just feels so fluid. I love it. Ever since I started copying that, it's absolutely amazing.
And isn't that a bit overkill, Black? Especially as you're now...
But you want to be the best, right? So why would you leave something that you can easily do untouched? Right? Like if you can do something like that, that's easy to do, and it gives you like 1.5 to maybe even more percentage to win. Why not? Right?
Yeah, but it didn't matter to you now that you're no longer competing?
The thing is, I can't stop doing it now because I did it.
I see. That makes sense.
It's a big problem. I don't remember. Have I told you about my Overcooked story?
It kind of rings a bell, but I'm not certain. Go for it.
The Overcooked story when I played with my friends and they never played with me again?
No, I don't think I know that story.
Okay, so...
But that sounds very sad, actually.
It is pretty sad. Yeah, we've never played again since then, as I said. So what happened is, I'm sure you know Overcooked, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you like put the ingredients together and you make a dish. So the multiplayer is basically an open map. You can access their belt, they can access your belt. So every time they completed the correct dish, I took it from their belt and put it on mine. Obviously, it's 3 points. Then they were like, well, screw you, we're going to do the same thing, which I already predicted they would do. So I prepared the wrong dish intentionally. They take the wrong dish to get minus points. They ended the game with minus 2,000 points. We ended the game with 6,000 points. And I've never seen them so mad in my entire life, dude. I thought it was super funny. My teammate thought it was super funny. Our opponent, they were mad. And they were done with us. We never played again together since that moment.
I don't know if I should laugh or if I should
I also don't know. At the time, I was laughing a lot because it felt really funny. But then when it set in, how mad they got because of my try-hardness, you know? The problem is it's not something I can control. I just try hard in everything I do. I wish I didn't, but it's just me, you know? What can you do?
Yeah. Well, while we wait to get into this second game of the day, Black, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update of what's happening in the other stream.
Please do.
Which is, well, not other stream, sorry, in the other game off stream, that's what I meant to say, between India and Bangladesh. So it's currently minute 35. So probably way longer than we were expecting it to happen. India does have the advantage, yes, but they are fighting versus an Ursa who is second in net worth. So despite being 15,000 down in net worth, ladies and gentlemen, I believe the carry of Team Bangladesh is trying his best to keep his squad into that one. So Bangladesh giving a run for the money to India, right, Black? It's pretty impressive, I would say, and I would say also quite unexpected, maybe.
I think so, yeah. Especially, as I said, for me, India, I thought they were the favorites. Now, do we get to cast them today? No, I believe we don't. Because I would love to see the players. Can you see the players? Who's playing?
From India, you have Krish, which is, of course, I think the most famous player of India, right? Yeah. You've got, oh yeah, by the way, Krish is running a Shadow Fiend, top net worth. Okay. No chance on the Tiny.
Yeah, okay.
And I can't see anybody else because they're dead. But I assume it's their classic squad.
Well, that is very surprising then that Bangladesh is that good because their names, I've been looking through them. I think I know one of them. Mm-hmm. But again, it doesn't really mean much nowadays anymore because the skill gap closed quite a bit over the years. So maybe they might just be on par with India and Nepal now. Maybe Nepal is just the Giga team here, since they also beat India last time. We'll have to see what actually happens. But does it look like India's still taking it, or?
I think so. I think they had the lead. They had the ages last I saw, and I think most probably they will be. They'll be getting that over the finish line in just a few moments, despite, like I said, the Ursa trying his best to hold his own. But it's only game one, right? And if you lose a close game one and you're the underdog, I think Bangladesh might come in very, very confident in the second in that second matchup. So hopefully they'll see a bit more success, right? Because I think it's safe to say, Black, in all these qualifiers, maybe with the exception of Australia versus New Zealand, which was a match, everything else was pretty cut and dry. Like the favorites came on top. You could argue Myanmar was also upset because, you know, they were the silver medalists of last year and didn't even qualify to Chengdu. So maybe that was also a bit of an upset. But otherwise, in Africa and all of the other Asian regions up until this point, it hasn't really been a competitive fight for the second place, right? It's top two clear teams and then everything else and everybody else. Hopefully, we might get a bit more spice here in South Asia.
I would like it as well. And Bangladesh seems to be trying to make a case for that. We'll have to see if there was a one-off. Maybe, you know, India misplayed. Maybe they overplayed. We'll see, because obviously consistency is what matters ultimately, especially in those longer series. Oh,
we're gonna see them today, Black. According to my schedule, which might be wrong, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting Bangladesh Nepal next.
Yeah. No, I was asking earlier if we're gonna get to see India, which I don't.
I see. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, because that would really give me more of like an insight of how they're really performing right now.
Yeah, I think we have tomorrow.
If they manage to beat India, that would be super fun, and then maybe they play against Nepal after. Why not?
Very, very exciting stuff happening in the IESF Asian qualifiers. As Right now, I am receiving note that India did manage to take it over the finish line in just under 40 minutes in the first game versus Bangladesh. But hey ho,
expected.
Absolutely close. So yeah. Unlike our series here, right, where we said that Sri Lanka has the better flag and the better names, but sadly not the better plays just yet. And looking at the drafts, right, Black, for the second game of the day, we both said, the Leech, the Slaughter, the Timber, so there was a lot of overlaps. The Lifestealer didn't make much sense to us either. Would you like Sri Lanka to completely scrap everything, or to just try the same thing but with a few different heroes?
I think it's important to stay in your comfort zone, but your comfort zone cannot be outdrafting yourself. So if you had to choose between being in a comfort zone or getting a good draft, you always have to choose getting a good draft. If your comfort zone is within that good draft, go for it every time. Like, it doesn't have to be the perfect pick, but it needs to make sense. But picking Lifestealer into a Pudge that already counters it, support Pudge counters Lifestealer. That's just how it is. But remember, goes through Rage. And you were picking it into a Morphling, which is like probably one of the hardest counters in the entire game. Like, that is just not how you can win against a team that's already on paper.
Okay.
So we'll have our next draft underway soon.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say that Nepal has warmed up and they're gonna be even more dominating than game one.
That is very possible. Always some players that need some time to warm up. I mean, I told you I just started playing golf recently. I need roughly 300 swings before I hit a ball properly. It's kind of ridiculous. Everybody makes fun of me all the time. But I don't care, I don't care. I am me. What do you want? I might be trash now, but in 10 years, I'm going to own you. That's just me as a person. And in 100 years, well, we talked about we want to be immortal. Hopefully, I'll still be 40 years old.
So what you're saying is that you will be the next generational Tiger Woods.
That would be badass, but probably not. Like, some people are just unreachable, like Michael Jordan, stuff like that. It's pretty tough to ever step into to fill their footsteps.
Wow. Arguably one of the most successful athletes ever in any sport, right? Sport-wise, we're not talking about personal life. That is something way above me and my knowledge of Tiger Woods' life. But with that being said, let's move on to potential future legends here from the South Asian region. Nepal versus Sri Lanka. They're starting their campaign for 2024's national squad. One with a victory and the other with a loss. They want to bounce back, which is going to be pretty hard to do, but they're sticking to their guns, Black. I just asked you about that, and that's what they're doing. Slaughter is coming through, but they're banning out the Darkseer, which I think is fair. Luris was an absolute disgustingly good player on that hero.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. But do I like the Slaughter again? It's just a hero that's so easily exploitable.
Radiant team ban.
I don't know, there's so many carries that are good against it. Morphling. Troll is really strong in the pack right now. There's a Warrior. They are getting...
Okay. Conca Pudge this time around. A different type of setup for the Pudge. We're going to have X into Hook or Torrent X Torrent into Hook. Okay. I do like this, though. Vengeful is great. Hopefully, though, not as a carry.
Hopefully not as a carry. It has a great synergy. Viper? Okay. We'll see what it does. I'm not the biggest Viper fan. It's kind of like a win lane, lose game kind of hero. Maybe they have some secret sauce.
Are they going all in on trying to punish this Kanka? They're assuming it's a Kanka mid, and they're like, hey, let's just throw Viper and Trumpster the Kanka mid?
Potentially, but it could be a Kanka offense too, right? We've even seen +4 Kanka.
Exactly, that's why I'm not certain. And now this Wind Ranger... Okay, so far you've got what could be 3 cores for Sri Lanka, and neither of them likes building MKB.
Yeah, I really like this opening already. Tiny is a master at punishing Viper. Super slow movement speed, of course, the Viper. And you toss him into the tower, something like that,
10
and
seconds
you're
remaining.
pretty much just dead. The Paul's
Sure,
draft
like-
is pretty much superior already, again.
Yeah, even with the Kanka, which is a non-factor for us because Kanka hasn't been in the meta for over a year now. But even the Kanka, I'm like, yeah, you know, it's fine. He's gonna be a beefy boy. He can flex. He adds a bit of a team fight with the ghost ship. The setup for the Pudge we already talked about. So Sri Lanka really needs to, I don't know, sort something out here.
Definitely. The draft has a lot of things left wanting. How are they going to sort them out? It's quite difficult because the heroes aren't like that flexible, right? What are they really going to do
Dire
with it?
team back.
Undying, and they have really little stun and catch. You know what I think about that?
He played the hero well. It's just, it kind of just fell off very, very hard with the rest of the squad, right? And Undying is meant to dominate, right, and convert into a victory. And we saw Slaughter Undying pressuring your lane last game. Well, now if this is a Wind Ranger safe lane, she's not as susceptible to dying early on as a Morphling is, right?
Radiant team back.
Yeah.
Dire
I mean,
team back.
Wind Ranger safe lane we've seen yesterday, it didn't do very well. So there's maybe a sliver of hope there. But you have 3 heroes that really want to right click, and Wind Ranger does not care at all. Tiny is going to be incredibly tanky as well.
10 seconds.
Now the
remaining.
only thing they're really missing is a good source of damage.
5 seconds.
I'm
remaining.
expecting... Honestly, I don't know. This Kunkka pick is a little bit out there, and I feel like it's a little griefy towards their draft, because now their lanes
Dire
will be
team
tough to get
pick.
really through. Like, what are they going to do? You can't really do Tiny Kunkka offlane. It makes no sense together. Kunkka mid against Viper doesn't sound that good. If it is a Viper mid,
Tiny mid, Wind Ranger carry. Kanka 4, Pudge 3, and you pick a last support.
it can work.
5
Yeah.
seconds remaining.
And you get like a
Supposed
Bane
to.
or a Shadow Demon or like something like that.
hmm
Or a Stunner, maybe Shadow Shaman. Just hex the Viper and the Slardar. Set up for the Pudge hook, maybe.
Just do it.
Sri Lanka really needs to cook something up here. And I think this is the second game in a row when they do not have last pick, which I would argue is by far the best thing to have, especially when you're running like tier 3, tier 4 Dota. You got to have the chance of catching
You're part of God.
maybe
Radiant team.
OD? Ember.
Okay, so it's Ember mid. Now Kunkka has no problem whatsoever.
Wait, is that a Viper safe lane? No, can't be.
Viper safe lane.
Remaining.
We've seen it before. Not very
Slardar safe
successful.
lane? Slardar safe lane, Viper off
5
lane?
seconds remaining.
Hey, we've also seen Slaughter carry before.
What about, okay, this might be
It's not very reliable,
Choose
but
your hero.
Lena.
Lena middle, okay. That makes sense.
These are-
Very strong mid laner.
Okay, so Ember mid confirmed. Viper off lane, Slardar safe lane carry, and the Vengeful Spirit support. Huh.
Slaughter safe and carry. It's been a long time since I've seen it. It's mostly not popular because it's just very risky.
This is like Loda 2015 type picks here, coming in from the Sri Lankan squad. Larice is going to be the off-lane Kunkka, though.
I'm not
These
the
are
biggest fan
some-
of Kunkka. I'm going to be completely honest.
These are some very strange drafts from both squads, Black. Calum is also running the position 4 Tiny, and they're going to stick to the 5 Pudge.
I
Wow.
think I like the 5 patch. It's just I have problems with the Kunkka, I'd say.
Yeah.
And I have problems with the Viper. Other than that, I think these drafts are actually pretty good. But I'm still gonna give a big edge just because I saw last game of the way they played in Nepal.
I think this is a very greedy lineup from Nepal, and despite that, I still think they are gonna be the ones coming out on top. But I guess if Sri Lanka hits a good tempo and manages to punish this Lina Windranger duo of cores early on, they could take over in mid-game. Overall, if I would have to give a percentage, I would probably take Nepal for about 80% here. Also, maybe 5 or 10 of those being based on their performance in the game number 1, as the second game and potentially final game of this first series of the day will be commencing, right now. Both teams smoking up, and let's see who has the better chance at initiating in the early game. Do you think I don't think you should contest the bounties here, actually. You have a Magic Missile and a Slithering Crush to fight into a Hook, Light Striker Array, and the Kunkka Torrent or Splash. That's a lot of damage coming in at level 1.
Yeah, it feels pretty bad in general to contest with a Viper. Like one of the slowest hero in the entire game. So, I agree. Try to settle. If you fight early game, you might find yourself at a really big disadvantage. So.
30 seconds.
But they have an Undying as well, right? So I guess that could be a case for them really just trying to get a surprise kill, but it's not going to happen. Both sides kind of thought the same thing.
Setting up in the corners, nobody will spot each other unless Puzzle and Caleb want to wait here after the creep spawn to maybe catch the Ember Spirit by surprise, which would be very, very painful for Sri Lanka. We'll see if that's the game plan. Otherwise, we see a very aggressive Observer Ward from their dire side, deep behind the tier 1 bottom.
Yeah, it's a very interesting position. I think they just wanted to catch someone off guard. Don't think they can really make that much use of it in the laning phase.
Black, look mid. They're camping him mid. The hook connects as the pulse comes through. Black DC, but there's 4 players there, and the Lina's coming as well. Mass disconnect from the Nepalese squad, and
just as they hit the hook too.
I mean, that's a good news, right? It's good news. That means they're boot camping, right?
Yeah. They're definitely a very serious team. You can tell by the way they're playing and by their skill. I wonder if all these teams are boot camping or not.
Prepare for a lesson.
I love the animation, this Ember Spirit. Look at it. It looks like he's traveling through time. He looks like he's time walking like a faceless void right now, actually.
It looks pretty damn funny. Sure, let me go, bro? No. Actually, there's no real follow-up. If I say that.
Okay. Yeah, there were 5 heroes there camping the Ember Spirit. What a dirty tactic coming in from their side. As right now, they are going in to the lanes. Ember Spirit will actually come back in just a bit later, as Lina will have the XP and gold lead to kick off the game. And Ember into Lina is it's not an easy job to do, especially when you're getting outplayed. And Wreckful just dies. Got hooked under the tower, and the Windranger connected. Unbelievable. This is a disaster.
That's the problem with Viper, though, especially against a hero like Pudge. You have 275 base movement speed. You are going to get hooked like all the time. It's almost inevitable, I'd say. It's so incredibly difficult to dodge that. Like, how do you even dodge it?
Well, you're clearly not dodging it, as I don't even know what to say right now. It's the worst start possible for Sri Lanka, as I feel again like they've been outdrafted and punished even without that. Look at game TM. I think he was trying to camp for the creep, and he will manage to get the last hit, at least a little bit of a victory. That was a glove of haste as well on it. So small victory for them, as yeah, this is interesting. Like, they're playing Slardar twice, and they're running it on 2 different heroes. As the Ember Spirit mid is getting very low in HP. The right long-range right clicks from the Lina are bringing him very low. Still alive for now. Now a skirmish down bottom. Totem coming in, and the Viper will get the kill, but the Wind Ranger should get it back. No mana for the Wind Run, and he will fall. Shades of last game with Game TM staying alive, triumphing in this battle.
His Undying seems to be really top-notch. There's no wonder that I keep going back to it. But still, I'm very worried about this Viper. Already died twice. Mid lane is incredibly hard as well. Lina historically always counters these kind of melee heroes, especially with a good start that he's already had given at the beginning with the first blood. So, yeah. I think the saving grace is that top lane, Slaughter should have a completely free lane. Like, these 2 heroes do nothing to him.
Well, what if the Pudge rotates? Then that's gonna change it up, right?
That's gonna be a problem, yeah, but he's probably gonna be busy bottom for quite a while.
There's a lot of creeps under the tower. He's gonna farm a little, pretty well right here with the Slaughter. He's gonna get a huge boost of XP right now, as he has a huge double wave under the tower. And moving on, this Slaughter should be more impactful than the one last game, right? He has a much better start and a much better lane, but he's also the win condition for them, as they're going for more bottom. The Wind Run, though, 2 points in it for Blues, who's just completely getting out of there safely.
No problem whatsoever, huh?
That's
the thing. If Wind Ranger doesn't put herself out of position, she can never really die in this lane. The only time she can die is if they are over-aggressive and she's a little bit out of position. Nice hook again.
Oh, they did get the kill. The exchange, though. You're losing your offlaner, right? But he would have died anyway. Getting something back there, it's okay. And he got the XP from that, because Game TM was there very, very close to allow him to get that. No gold for the Viper, but the XP is gonna be feeling nice.
Now the question is, when is it time to make Undying your offlane?
About 5 minutes ago. No,
Because
Viper
he's having a
support.
great game, right?
Yeah.
Undying offlane has worked in the past. It can be an aura builder. Maybe it's something to consider, because Viper's only sitting at 12 CS. The games look closer than last one, though. That's very good news. I like the lanes overall a lot better. Both teams have very interesting drafts. Not something we really see at the top tier level. And yeah, so far pretty even game.
They are playing for the lanes, right? So it's good to see that they're actually not losing them this time around, as we see another double creep wave coming in, and they're actually going for X marks the spot on top of Cream, but the double Slithering Crush and the Magic Missile. Caleb is tanking a lot of tower hits, and now the Blood Green, the Vengeful Spirit really wants to connect. One more right click will do the job, but the stick is coming in just in time, and Caleb has another toss. It's going to be allowing him to get the kill now. Cream tanks a lot. That's 4 range creeps he has to tank, and Laris is so happy to deny them all, as in bottom we get more action yet again. Game TM really tries to get something back in exchange once again, but this time he doesn't have the mana for it.
And Wind Ranger is getting bigger and bigger.
The hook connected as we were looking away, and Game TM will fall.
Yeah, he's been hitting a lot of these really nice hooks. Makes sense why they pick it so much early on. All lanes are going pretty well again. We said the game isn't really one-sided, but it's starting to get there again. It always feels like Nepal is a little bit slow to warm up into a game, but once they're ready, they just go completely ham. Now the problem is Wind Ranger's level 6, almost 7. Your Viper has no chance anymore. It's just a walking ATM at this point.
This Viper level 4 got focus fire by the Wind Ranger, and now Krim up top will die to the Tidebringer, as a Game TM rotated trying to assist his safe lane hero, and it's looking very, very rough for them, as Morpheus is here, but they don't have to catch for this Kanka. And it's interesting that the cores are the only ones that seem to be dying on the Sri Lankan side. Game TM is having a good game. He only fell once in a 1v2 with that beautiful meat hook coming in from the Pudge. So minute 7, you see a bit of a contest down the bottom. Wisdom Rune, Pudge versus Viper are having a bit of a battle. If we could take a look at that any moment now. Okay, Pudge in the end gets deterred, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade.
Is under attack.
1-for-1 trade, probably something they're very happy with at this point. Deathmark getting sold in mid lane.
Top tower is under
As you
attack.
see a nice little escape top. That's the problem. Like, they're trying a lot of things. It's just nothing is really working out for them, unfortunately. It's kind of like last game where they're falling behind a little bit in the early game. And then from there, they're trying things, but it seems like Nepal is always one step ahead.
Or maybe like 2 or 3 steps ahead. As they do manage to get a kill top on Calum. And Game TM is a very beefy boy. You can't get the trade back from Luris. No TPs from any of the other players on the Radiant side. They're also doing a bit well. No, the Slaughter is doing okay in last hits. Everybody else is not having a game. And look at this mid lane, Black. I think we haven't seen mid in over 4 minutes. Lina is taking the tower, now playing behind what was the tier 1 tower, and almost tripling the last hits of the Ember Spirits.
It's a very tough matchup, and he's also had the first blood, so yeah.
Go ship top, doesn't connect. Now Avalanche onto 2. Crim tries to run away. Toss will come in. The Slaughter really tries to stay away. Another slithering crash, and now Callum has to run away. They're both corrosive haste and nice searing chains connecting onto 2 targets. Deadmark jumping in forward. They really need to get something, but a hook comes in, and he's gonna fall. One more right click will do the job. Morpheus dying to Sesson, rotating in with the Lina level 8, getting the Ember, killing every single player in the area. And now Game TM tries to turn around with the totem, but Puzzle is not even gonna be a casualty, who is dying because Lina was missing a few hits off of the low ground, but 4 for none going in the favor of Nepal.
Whew. Game was even for a while. Now Nepal is setting off again.
Dire's top
West
tower is under
region
attack.
domination, 8k ahead. They are looking once more like they're in a prime position to really take this one home. Fantastic team play. I love how they help each other. Oh, nice little pickoff here though. Deathmark finally getting one back. 550 bounty. Getting a courier
killing
as well with
Kaya.
Kaya on it.
Radiant's courier has
That's massive. And they want to go for the Lina. Searing Chains connect. Slithering Crush. 1 bash. And Sesson will survive that. Just barely. And the turnaround. Light Strike Array not needed to connect as the Shackles are there. And a Focus Fire onto the Slaughter. Ember falls. So the Slaughter. And now Game TM again trying to get at least a single kill onto Puzzle. The Undying is trying to man up and right-clicking Callum. Now the toss on top of the creeps will be probably more than sufficient to allow Blues use the Maelstrom for a double kill.
Lina, though, ended up actually walking back in, trying to get the kill on the Ember, who got one more Sleight of Fist out and actually killed the Lina. So that trade was really nice for them. But yeah, overall, of course... Actually, no. If you look at the numbers, they made roughly 2k gold for themselves. So not too bad at all.
Dire's top
Slowly
tower
falling back
has
in
fallen.
to what looked like an impossible situation.
Great aggressive observer ward in that position from Calum, just towards the Dire jungle. As it's 7k in minute 10. I don't know what to say, Black. This Windranger, Lina was tripling the last hits of the Slaughter, but Windranger has almost 7,000 net worth. This is unbelievable. And she spots Wreckful, doesn't even need to use the Focus Fire. The Viper was so low for some reason, showing himself onto lane, giving away the life for free. The Viper is the 3rd lowest net worth on the server, outfarmed by the opponent Pudge and by his teammate Undying.
Yeah, it's been a tough series for him, unfortunately. But it's very easy for a game to look like this when you're outclassed individually. That's just the nature of these qualifiers. I'm sure they're still very happy to get some exposure on the stream, get a chance to really represent their country and themselves, because these chances aren't that often. We don't even know how much time they really invest into, training.
Mm-hmm.
For them, that might just be a hobby, and they're just having a good time,
Well, They're having a good time playing, but I don't think he's having a good time right now with 3.1k net worth at minute 11 on the core Viper.
Well, that's kind of what I alluded to, though. Like, Viper is just one of these heroes where... Yeah. What can I say? Viper is a Viper. I've hated this hero for many, many years. Exactly for this reason. So mobile, very hard to come back if you lose lane. And you're not even that good on lane until you're level 3. We need some, like, rework or buffs to Viper to really make it work. Undying. Got
My
put
goodness.
Flame by Saison. Easy peasy for him as well. Dina's fat. They're all big. They're all huge. Monster kill for blues. No real response there as well. Easy focus fire pick off.
No focus fire for this Ember Spirit, but he doesn't have any other teammates, and the Tiny is a few hundred gold away from having a Bling Dagger for himself. Pudge is flying in an Either lens. I'm a bit in doubt about what's about to happen, Black, because this is looking like... I predicted a harder stomp than in game 1, and I actually think my prediction could be coming true any moment now, because they are taking over this completely, and the setup for getting the kills is not there. You are running a Slardar safe lane that is not building a Blink Dagger, of course, because he's running safe lane, so he's doing the Orchid build. But this game around, I actually think he needed the Blink Dagger, right? So I think last game he should have rushed the Orchid, and this time has the Blink. But even by rushing the Orchid, he still only has the Oblivion Staff. It's going to take him another 1,500 gold until he has the Silence.
Well, the issue is this time is a carry starter, right? So he actually doesn't want to go for a very early blink. Because otherwise he wouldn't really be scaling a whole lot. But as you said, he is, yeah, it's tough. It's real tough.
Pause. Maybe this is going to be good for them because they can, I mean, obviously the Viper needs to reconnect. But they could probably talk about any way of setting up for something, and that's what I hated in game 1. They didn't have that big team fight spell or set of big team fight spells to help them, you know. Oh yeah, we're playing from behind, but we always have the danger of the combo wombo, the Enigma jumping in, or the vacuum wall to set up for something. They don't have that either. This time, maybe even less than last game, they got the totem, and I guess the Slithering Crush is AoE. The last game, at least, they had a Chain Frost on top of that. It's gonna be a really, really hard ask for them to find a game plan to connect a series of spells that allow them to kill 3 or 4 players.
Yeah, they definitely picked pretty much all in for lanes. And as we can see, the lanes didn't really go their way, unfortunately. It's gonna be a tough way back into the game from here. They will have to rely on some mistakes from Nepal. And they don't really seem like they're making too many mistakes, unfortunately.
What is this Viper building, Black? She has a chainmail. Is this going to be a blade mail?
Probably a blade mail against the Wind Ranger. I think it's going to be very late at that point. If she wants to, she might even have a BKB already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As I said, it's a tough cookie to swallow. Tough match. Very tough match. Question is, so if you pick so heavily for lanes,
yep,
and you lose lanes, there's, as we said, it's just incredibly tough to do much of anything, really. All they can hope for is that some mistakes do happen.
They don't even have the mech on the Undying, who has had a pretty good game. Otherwise, the supports on the side of the Radiant are so big right now, Black. It's kind of impressive to see them doing so well, and I hope there's a way of punishing. A December Spirit does have something flying towards him on the courier. I don't know what it is, because he seems to be building a Dagon, Black. Excuse me?
Oh, Dagon.
Am I
Ember?
blind? I swear he's building a Dagon.
Yeah, he seems to even have a couple of components already. Yeah, that's definitely out there. It's not something I can say I've seen a lot, if almost ever.
Does he have like a new spell amp, magic amp talent, or just level 10 or something that I'm not aware of?
Even
I
if
don't
he
think he
did,
does.
Maelstrom would be generally considered the superior option.
We sometimes see Dagon builds when you're playing versus, not on Ember Spirit, of course, but on other heroes when you're playing versus illusion-based heroes, such as Terrorblade or I guess the Zeus Manta style build. The Dagon just essentially helps you kill the illusion very, very fast. It's not the case here. And yes, Wind Rangers will build the Manta style, but that's not necessarily the dangers of the heroes, right?
Yeah, I think it just wants a little more damage, maybe. So the approach is actually not bad at all, right? Like you need damage in order to kill heroes that are too tanky because they're very far ahead.
Yeah.
Now I don't know why I would go for Dagon instead of Maelstrom though, because Maelstrom fulfills a very similar role, just better for a hero like Ember Spirit. Because you're gonna get a lot of procs with the Sleight of Fist, of course. Hey, maybe it's gonna work out perfectly, and we're gonna be like, well, what do we know? But chances are, might be a little bit of a waste item.
Chances are that we do know.
Yeah.
I mean, Facebook's Blightstone Wand bottle into Dagon. The lifesteal component, is that what the plan is? Right?
I guess.
I'm trying to theory craft something that we're breaking new territories here, ladies and gentlemen.
Easy breezy, easy breezy.
Yeah, as it's definitely not something we've seen a lot, or probably almost any pro has seen a lot. It's out there. Maybe we get to learn something. Maybe not. Still waiting for the Viper to reconnect. Now, I'm just going to say, if this was a pub game,
Yeah.
you know he's not reconnecting.
Oh no! I mean,
Like that.
Would you reconnect, Black? Do you ever go 1 in 7 minutes 14?
I'm gonna admit, I've never banned the game, no matter how crappy it was. I was angry, surely, and I thought about doing it, but I've never done it because it's just a bad thing to do. You know, you're wasting everyone's time.
Oh, the Lena has disconnected as well.
Okay.
This is when you're in your pubs and you are on the dire side and you hope, okay, if our Viper gets back and the Lena doesn't come back in, we might have a chance.
Yeah, the classic. And
Yeah.
then keep unpausing, even though they kept the game paused the entire time.
Exactly.
I like your thinking, my friend.
I think that's the way to go.
That would be so funny. Oh man, imagine if it actually happened.
I mean, they could do it for the lols, right? They could unpause and pause it right away again. You know what I mean? Just like be like, oopsies, and you drop the voice line in chat. Ah, Sisson, come on. You ruined our...
Now, what are they going to do? What can they do?
Can they do anything? That is the better question. Black, let's play a rock, paper, scissors game.
How?
Okay, we'll do it this way, right? If you win, we'll do a best of 3. If you win, that means Nepal is winning this game 2-0. Okay?
Uh-huh.
If I win, that means Nepal is winning this game 2-0 in under 20 minutes.
Okay.
Are you ready?
All right.
Are we going on scissors or on shoot? Scissors. Let's go scissors. So rock, paper, scissors. You show on scissors, yeah?
So
Okay.
1, 2, 3, basically.
Yeah, basically. Okay.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors. Ooh. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay. Okay. 1-0. 1-0. Okay, let's go. Okay, well, final one. Potentially. Rock, paper, scissors.
Ah!
Ooh. So it will be longer than 20 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. We've shown it. The GG will happen after 20 minutes. And I'm sorry, you're so doom and gloom. We're trying to make a bit of a light situation out of it. Sri Lanka has definitely met their maker in this game, Black. It's safe to say. Nepal is everything you could have asked for from a team, right? They are playing a phenomenal Dota, and it doesn't surprise me. It does not surprise me. Like you said, they are one of the top 2 favorites. With this showing, maybe even number 1. And we got some good news. We are hopping back straight into game right now to show you that the prediction that we made with rock, paper, scissors will come through. So they need to last another 6 minutes, Black. I think that might be correct, actually.
I think you're very right.
I'm right when I say that you're right.
Yes, you're right, and I'm right, and I'm right. Because, well, we'll see. Like some players, they really like to just be in the moment, take the time, stay in forever. I think they know how dire the game is looking for the dire.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
But yeah, 6 minutes to live, then basically balance has been restored, right?
Is under attack.
And there's no way they
Blues
can push this
is-
through in 6 minutes.
Blues is godlike. He's 12-1-3, and we just had a little bit of a teleport to mid to Sison, who is only a measly 5-1-2. And now look at that double shackle shot coming in. Swap just a bit too late. The Ember does fall, but they're turning around. They're getting the godlike spree, and Krim is gonna have the biggest influx of gold in his entire match. Callum's just jumping in. He doesn't care. He want to catch someone. Avalanche connects, and now toss all the way over the tier 2 tower on top of the Kunkka into the light strike array, and the amplified damage from the Lina will not claim the kill. It's actually gonna be Luris getting a last hit with the Tidebringer.
But as you said, very good kill bounty.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Every time this happens, it's just absolutely massive, right? How much was it worth again? 2K?
I believe it was, looking in the chat right now, 1800.
1800 is very close to that, yeah.
So swap up top to protect the Viper, getting her out. But look at the range of that Dismember with the Aetherlance. Instant magic missile will stop it. Puzzle has to be careful now. Double searing change connecting. December Spray doing a good job, but Caleb coming in with the toss. Avalanche, X mark the spot. Ghost Ship, they are throwing Wreckful left, right, and center, and the meat hook will get the final kill. Luris, the effects of the Ghost Ship still lingering, and now Shackle Shot connecting onto the Undying. Light Strike Array, Laguna Blade, the Ember overstepped his welcome as Sison arrives. Bash, crush, silence, and the kill does happen. 2 for 2, and the Caleb jumping in yet again, wants to protect the Lina, but the Lina does fall in the end, and now Cream with another slithering crush. 1 versus 2, trying to man up, trying to carry the Sri Lankan side, but the Avalanche coming in yet again. We need a crush. 1 second, we'll do the job. The bash is coming through, and the double kill for Sri Lanka to come back into this one. Orchid for the Tiny, but no more mana, no more HP, and the 2 strength heroes will go their separate ways.
Dude, this Slada is absolutely massive now suddenly. It's still a 9K lead, of course, but you know, there is a world where the Slada can actually go absolutely crazy and maybe make something happen. I didn't expect this team fight to go like this, let me just say it that way.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
In all honesty, there were a few mistakes from both sides. I think that's quite accurate. First, the Ember overstepped because they had the lead at the beginning of that team fight, but then overstepped and got caught by a Light Strike Array, which completely annihilated him. And then at the same time, After you've used all of your spells to kill the Viper and the Undying, manning up versus the Slardar, Venge, and Ember can be quite costly despite the lead that you have.
Definitely, the heroes are very good at punishing overstaying. Like you, as you said, you just keep fighting in a Tombstone. Can be very detrimental to you, of course. We all know how strong Tombstone can be. I really like that they're not giving up.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They're actually fighting tooth and nail. I feel like lots of players would be very deflated and actually do give up. But yeah, they got something to prove. And I like it a lot.
Yeah, they're playing as a unit. They're playing as a proper team, and that's beautiful to see. Because when you represent your country, it's the go-to. As we have a full completed Dagon on this Ember Spirit. I forgot. I honestly, there's so much stuff happening since we last spoke about the Dagon. I forgot this was a thing. I've seen Void Spirit Dagon in the past. Ember is the brother of Void Spirit, so maybe that works out.
Money to burn.
Potentially, yeah.
Dire's middle tower.
I mean, I do like the fact that
Regeneration.
he is trying out something, having some fun with it, but it's definitely not longevity, right? Like that item, Dagon,
Dire's top tower.
you
is
don't
under
build
attack.
that to really, how do I put it in a nice way, to like really win the game.
Radiant structures.
I would actually say they would have a decent or much better shot
Radiant's middle tower
if you
is
build
under
like
attack.
cookie cutter item. There's a reason why it's a standard build. There's also a reason why Dagon is not the standard build.
Tiny avalanche toss onto 4 heroes. Light strike array onto 2, and Laguna Blade will kill the Dagon Ember Spirit. Swap coming in too late. Slardar gets caught by the opponents. Laguna has to go out and need hook across the entire Dire jungle. Connects to get the 4th kill for Nepal. It's only game TM alone versus 5. He's getting pursued. He's getting pulled back. Avalanche toss dismembered. Right click shackled. All of the spells one by one chaining up to allow Blues get a triple.
Well, last fight was very close, but as you said, a couple of mistakes by the Nepal side. Then they were like, okay, well, it's time to close this one up, guys.
Dire's top
Nice
tower
spell
is under
usage.
attack.
Good team play. Kind of what we expected after game 1 as well. But it's also quite funny to see that the favorite
Dire's
team,
middle tower is under
most of the time, not always, they have like this one moment where they're just like, yeah,
Dire's middle tower
let's have some fun with it. Maybe not be too serious, right?
We now see the cloak, and the Ember will revert to a bit of a more classic build now, trying to get a Mage Slayer. Slardar has a
the
blink. Yeah. Slardar has a blink now, so there's initiation, and now, Orin connects, but the meat hook does miss. Shackle. Not connected fully on the Ember Spirit, Vengeful coming in, but the burst damage is so overwhelming. And the meat hook coming in through all the targets, through the illusions to connect onto the Slardar. 46 seconds, no carry, 30 no mid. The Viper has a Blade Mail. Minute 21 almost, and now can the Viper get away? The Undying will not be as lucky as the beautiful Torrent setup for the meat hook allows, the Pudge to pull the victims closer to Sisson's Lina. Now topping the net worth chart with 1,400 net worth.
That was a ridiculous hook range. And for some reason, the hook also looked huge. Hook usually doesn't look that big, does it?
No, I don't think it does. Maybe it's just a cosmetic type stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
has fallen.
Very interesting.
Oh, double shackle, double connection, and
Yeah.
this might be game.
Good synergy of skills. And as you said, it might be game. I mean, it's been game for a while. We're just waiting to see the 2 magic buttons. Letters.
Another torrent into hook, and look at the toss Morpheus into the dying hands of the Undying's teammate. Slardar alone gets Laguna bladed and bursted down as Blues gets yet another. It's his 13th kill, 22 minutes in. It's first set of racks well full, and they do want to hit tier 4s. Calum seems to want to, but he's a support. He doesn't have the necessary attack speed. With that being said, he's also only outfarmed by the Slaughter on the Radiant side, on the Dire side, my apologies. Lina even purchases a Mithril Hammer. She took the X marks the spot to base just to get the Mithril Hammer. It gives her a spell amp, spell mana regen, and obviously more tower pushing.
Yeah, it's a very common strategy, of course. Well, yeah, how are they going to defend the throne? They're all kind of sitting in fountain right now.
They don't want to get picked off again by a torrent hook, right? So they want to all be alive and have one last hurrah. 5 players smoked up. It's Sri Lanka going for the now or never play.
What's it going to be, my friend? Now?
Why are they separating?
Never.
Are scanning.
There are 2 of them going bottom and 3 top, and they spotted Undying. No more smoke. He's gonna die. He's the spotted to go tall, and he does it. The Slaughter jumps into the middle of the stun, and the shackle. Scream. Gleipnir, it will fall. So does the Vent, but we have the buybacks. They're still trying to fight. Dismember onto the Ember Spirit. Can he get out of the range? But losing with a focus fire, chasing him all the way down to the fountain. The Ember is still alive. Double buyback, triple now coming in. They want to punish this Wind Ranger for overcommitting. She does not have any ages, but she's so fast. She gets away, spots the Undying, pops the Mithril Hammer on top of him. 3 of the Radiant heroes are very low. Actually, every single one of them. You just need to convert into a kill. The Armored Toggle. Calum says, no, I'm here to kill you all. And he does just that as the race claims their triple kill and steals out second victory and a good game for Nepal.
Dire's bottom tower.
Good game for Nepal. Had their fun with it in the end. So did their opponents. But yeah, it was Nepal pretty much all the way, you could say. Well, the early game actually looked kind of close until like minute 10.
Yeah.
And then really Nepal started taking off again in their side lanes, mid lane. And what can you say? They were the favorites. They played super well. They drafted really well. The side of Sri Lanka, they really drafted their comfort heroes, which they just don't fit into the meta right now. Their item builds don't really fit into the meta either. It's a tough loss for them, but I'm sure that, you know, it's not unexpected for them either. So they're not going to be the card build.
I'm looking at their upcoming matchups, right? And they will be facing every single team in this group. So it's going to take them a little bit to, you know, get to that point in time, as we have their next matchup will be India, right? And that's going to be potentially even harder for them. But if they learned anything from the series versus Nepal, they have about an hour or so to theory craft and come up with better strategies for themselves while they face such an important foe and opponent. As we look at this beginning of the game for Sri Lanka with Game TM, who both games black had very good plays and a lot of success on this Undying during the laning phase.
Definitely, he played very well on his Undying. I think it fits him very well too. He knows the limits of the hero very well. Which is overall, you know, all the lanes were tough. Can't really carry it as an Undying in the top position as well. Yeah. Yeah. What do you say? Congratulations, or rather, well done. But the expectations were they exceeded or were they met?
I would say both teams exceeded my expectations. I know you said you've seen Nepal play before and you were expecting this from them. So for me, I think both teams delivered. I knew Nepal were the favorites, but I didn't know they were actually going to be so good at spell casting, right? I think this is my biggest takeaway. With the picks they have in both games, which were quite different, right? Other than the Pudge, they were chaining up the utility. The usage of spells was very much on point time and time again, which is going to be very impressive, especially if they do qualify to Chengdu. You need to be on point when it comes to that aspect. Whereas Sri Lanka, they did lose in quite quick fashion, right? But compared to some of the other dominating performances we've seen in other regions, they still had moments in which they put up a great showing.
They did, and their resilience, I think, was most commendable. They did really, really well when they could. Even that last team fight that they actually ended up winning was very impressive, especially with where they were at the time. That's the deficit. I think it's this one here. The starter goes absolutely crazy. But yeah, maybe in a different world, you know, it's like Marvel is all about multi-universe right now.
Okay.
The game could have gone differently for Sri Lanka from here on out, but Nepal was just playing with their food, really.
I think if we see this game happen 10 times, there is a chance 1 or 2 of those games could go to Sri Lankan side, right? I think that's maybe 1. 1 out of 10, and this lineup could make it work. Maybe not with a Dagon on the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, the item builds were very interesting. I don't know why he thought the Dagon was necessary or needed for this kind of game.
I don't think it was. I don't think either. It didn't make that much sense. And he played a good Ember when it comes to, again, using the Sleight of Fist Searing Chains. We sometimes see this Ember hero be picked in Tier 3 Dota, and the connection doesn't really happen. You see the Sleight of Fist and the Searing Chains that are a bit delayed. He was really good at setting up for his team, but then he wasn't being able to play the hero to his full potential because he did have a Dagon.
Yeah. I'm still wondering what that was about, what he thought when he built that. So again, it's not something we ever see. Ever.
I'm trying to make sense of it as well. Like, did he feel like the heroes were always escaping on a sliver of HP? Is it just the way to go because of a bit of the spell lifesteal? I guess I don't really understand it. Like I said, there's no illusion hero, so you could kill him. Maybe they just felt like they needed a bit more burst damage. That might be as simple as that. But again, the Maelstrom procs that would have come in from the usage of Sleight of Fist would have done the same thing. And I gotta give props to Caleb, right? This Tiny was formidable from him. I know last game we praised Luris for the Dark Seer play. This one, it's gotta be either the Tiny or the Wind Ranger for me that stood out the most in the Nepal victory, Black.
Yeah, he played very well. His rotations were spot on. His, as you said, spell casting, not just his, but the entire Nepal squad was very convincing.
Yeah.
Well done once more. Although, again, they probably didn't feel like this was their biggest adversary yet. It's probably in the form of India. How's their second game going, or how did it go?
Oh, that is a great question. I believe India was dominating early game, and there was a bit of a comeback from Bangladesh. I don't know what point we're at right now, if the series is completed, if we went to a game 3, or if game 2 is still underway. But I will try my best to find out that piece of information for you, Black. Give me just a moment. Okay, wow. So, it's currently minute 28. The early lead that India had has been completely gone. And there's only a 1k advantage for Bangladesh. With that being said, they are the ones running an Alchemist. So when you have an Alchemist, minute 30, you kind of need to be ahead.
Right. Yeah, okay. Well, in that case, I mean, it's a lot closer than both other of us expected. So our next series, Nepal versus Bangladesh, could be a banger as well.
I think that would be very exciting to see indeed, as we are now just moments away, ladies and gentlemen, from having a winner's interview with one of the Nepal players. Of course, they were on the winning side, so we will get an interview with him. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask our winner?
Well, honestly, it's kind of hard to ask questions about this game in particular. I think
true.
It was just too easy for them. But I would love to know what they think about the strongest opposition, where they rank themselves in this region. Because last time they took the edge over India. Also, I want to know their average MMR because I haven't heard of a couple of these players.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. That's spicy. Do you think they're going to tell us? Or they're going to just joke us like, oh, we're a bunch of 2Ks just running with our friends. I mean, I've heard that answer before. Or someone telling me they're 15K MMR. I'm like, that's the wrong game. That's not possible.
We'll see whether it's a joker or more of a serious guy. Like some people are super jokers, right?
Yeah, of course.
Are more like, yeah.
when people ask me what my MMR is, I pretend I'm deaf. I'm like,
What is MMR?
exactly, what is MMR? It's the my most respectable Dota number.
Fair.
That's MMR. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm very keen to see again. Be here with you, Black, for another interview with yet another region. As I'm okay. I'm looking at a little bit of what's happening in the other series. So, I spoke about this alchemist. Maybe we shouldn't read too much into it because that was a support alchemist that Bangladesh ran.
Ooh. Now that's something that it's not super common. We've seen it a couple of times over the years. It can definitely work out. So he went like into a fast axe, or I guess it's pretty hard to see over the stream.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that much. I assume they have a Brimstroke alchemist, so I assume you're using the concoction plus the soul bind, right? You get double concussion. That's a pretty good dynamic. Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. And again, the fact that the game is going so late, even if India ends up winning yet again, it's gonna be great nonetheless. As Bangladesh losing but putting up a fight might mean they will bring some big guns to the table in their series versus Nepal. But speaking of Nepal, we are now ready to hop in our winners interview. So, where do we start? I guess we're gonna be starting with a congratulations for your victory.
Guys, thank you.
Black, would you like to start with your question, please? You told me you have a pretty good one.
I have a couple, yeah. Obviously, well done. You made it look very easy. First question I have is, so India, to me, are the favorites because I know a lot of their players from matchmaking. I played with a lot of their players in matchmaking. Not so much with yours. So what is the average MMR of your team, actually? Like, your individual play looks really amazing, and I'm expecting it to be quite high.
So our average MMR of the team is like 9K, 9.5K.
Wow, that is really high. Okay, it makes sense. Like when we watch you play, you completely dismantle them. Okay. Very
I guess the second question is, do you think you're the favorites to get first place in this region? And if so, who do you think is the second closest team with your skill level? Because like Black said, he believes India might actually be currently ahead of you, despite you defeating them a few times over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I guess we will win the series in the South Asian region. And I guess India is the next best team in this region.
Okay, so you're the best team and India is the second best team. So you're expecting to be top one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, the way you play, if you play against India like that, I could definitely see that happen again. Last time you played them, it was 2-0 for you as well. So maybe I'll have to eat my own words.
The next question I have for you, obviously you are fighting to qualify to Chengdu in September, where you will be facing the likes of Team China, teams from the European qualifier, South Africa, Egypt as well. So going into Chengdu, what are your plans? How are you going to prepare for that, of course, if you do qualify? And how are you going to tackle trying to get into the top 4 to qualify for the World Esports Championships?
Yeah, in Chengdu, there are lots of best teams better than us, but we will give our best to be in top 4 so we can go to Riyadh to the main event. Yeah, they are definitely the best, but we need to try a lot.
Very nice.
Okay. I just had one last question about one specific hero. So we spoke to Execration yesterday from SEA, and they said Beastmaster is insanely overpowered. What do you think about Beastmaster?
Yeah, I also do think Beastmaster is insanely overpowered. Beastmaster and CK, I guess. CK too.
Yeah.
Chaos Knight.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I guess powerful. They can carry the game solo.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And congratulations again.
Thank you, Wisp. Congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you more for more winners interview, and good luck later on with the rest of your series.
Thank you for the interview.
Well, that was Wisp from the winners of Team Nepal Black, full of confidence, shining as always. Looked, I would say, pretty relaxed on the back of that performance, right? And it's something great to see that they think they are the best, and they want to prove you a little bit wrong there.
Yeah, seemingly looks that way. He thinks for sure they're gonna be top 1 in the region. Truth be told, if they're that high MMR, like the only reason I gave the edge India is because I know they're really high MMR, but they might not even be higher now. If the average is 9k, dude, yeah, with these kind of plays, they might be my new favorite.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they are. They are really, really a high player. Of course, 9.5 average is incredible. Probably even higher than some of the other regions that we had. I believe South Africa had a player in the 10k ballpark, but I think the others were about 8k. So that is quite a big difference, Black. And Australia, similar manner, 69k, but not, I don't think, over 9k more than a single player. So right now they're looking really good, primed up to do very well in Chengdu. And like we said, yeah, they might be facing some of the heavy hitters there, but they don't need to get first place in Chengdu to qualify. They need to get into top 4. And even if they sneak into that 4th place, which is what Kyrgyzstan did last year at the Asia qualifiers, they still ended up winning bronze at the World Esports Championship. So a long way to go for them until September. And of course, this was the first best of 3 of the qualifiers for them. But they will be back later on today with the second matchup that will be facing versus Bangladesh Black. So for now, we're going to send it to a little bit of a break, but we will return with more South Asian Dota 2 IESF action.